What's up, guys? Part-time Gamer Dad here, and it is time for my Bad Blood 2024 predictions. When looking at all the PLEs from this year, as well as pay-per-views from AEW, I think Bad Blood has one of the most intriguing lineups of any PLE or pay-per-view I've seen all year. Not to say that it might have the strongest matches, but some of the dynamics when you consider like Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes together, Damian Priest finally getting his hands on Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio being suspended in a cage, a shark cage above the ring, or this whole CM Punk Drew McIntyre feud finally being ended within a Hell in a Cell, a proper Hell in a Cell match, a match that actually calls for this kind of stipulation. This is a very exciting PLE to have at this point in the year when this is kind of typically a dead period between SummerSlam and Survivor Series, and it sure doesn't feel like it. So with all that being said, let's get into the matches. Kicking us off, I'm going to talk about one of the matches that I think is the most anticipated, and it's one of the most intriguing for sure, but not the match I think will be the main event, and that is Cody Rhodes and the Tribal Chief, the original Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, going against Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu in tag team action. Obviously, we had that incredible cinematic masterpiece of Cody and Roman meeting in Atlanta, having that kind of face-off to then become allies and say, I've got your back to each other. And obviously, this is all probably leading to Roman and Cody facing off against each other, probably at Crown Jewel next month. So if that's the case, and that's the most likely progression of the story, which then will, of course, lead into War Games of Bloodline 2.0 versus OG Bloodline, which I think you bring the Usos and Sami Zayn into that. I'm going to pick Roman and Cody to win. Also, like, if Roman and Cody lose, like, who takes the pinfall? You have the WWE champion, or you have the most over superstar that you've had in the last 1 to 2 decades, at least since John Cena, but maybe even before that in Roman Reigns. So I think you have Solo take the pinfall here, protects Jacob Fatu. Solo, nobody really takes Solo seriously anyway. So at this point, that's the only person that makes sense for me to take the pinfall. And that makes it easy for me to say that Roman and Cody walk away with the win. Next up, we have a match for the WWE Women's Championship with the champ, Nia Jax, defending against the former champ, Bayley. Obviously, these two faced off at SummerSlam where Nia Jax defeated Bayley for the championship. And we've had the whole storyline of Naomi and Bayley's friendship being tested. They faced against each other for the right to have this match at Bad Blood. You also have Tiffany Stratton kind of looming in the background and her relationship with Nia Jax on the rocks. I think however it plays out, we will see Nia Jax retain. Maybe Naomi has a heel turn and turns her back on Bayley, or inadvertently costs her the match. But I think whatever happens, we see Nia Jax continue to carry that title, because I think what we're going to see down the road is Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax have a feud over that championship. Whether that means that Tiffany Stratton ends up being the one to dethrone her via a cash-in, or Tiffany just turns babyface and in a match that involves Nia Jax, she cashes in to screw her out of it, because obviously Nia Jax and her are at odds, and it kind of would make sense for Tiffany Stratton to become the babyface. She's way more over with the crowd. However you do it, I think we're going to see Nia Jax retain here and then hold on to her title just a little bit longer. Now let's talk some Judgment Day matchups, and we finally have Finn Balor versus Damian Priest in just a good old singles match. I think when you consider that Judgment versus the Twin Terrors is kind of like the actual feud that's carrying into these matches, so you have Liv versus Rhea, which we'll talk about in a minute, and then Damian versus Finn, I don't think you can have Judgment Day sweep, and I also don't think you have Twin Terrors sweep. It just doesn't make sense to me in terms of storytelling, because Twin Terrors beat the Judgment Day, but then we've had a lot of Judgment Day beating down Twin Terrors. So I would argue that what we're going to see is Finn Balor is going to, I'm going to say Finn Balor loses to Damian Priest, and I would love to see Finn Balor defeat Damian Priest, and maybe I'll be proven wrong on the actual show. And from a storytelling side, Papa H, Hunter, he's got a really good mind and perspective of how to keep a story fresh and engaging. But I feel like this storyline's already been going on so long that we need to kind of put an exclamation point on a part of it. Do we get 2 War Games matches at Survivor Series? Are we going to see Judgment Day versus Damian Priest and maybe Jey Uso and a few other folks? Maybe not. whatever is going to happen down the road, I still don't think it changes the fact that Damian Priest gets a win over Finn Balor here. But I personally, like, what I would love to see is Finn actually get the win. And I like Finn to get it, like, definitively. I like, without Judgment Day interference. And I guess that's kind of my issue, is that Judgment Day will interfere in this match. Judgment Day will somehow interfere in the next match. And maybe I'm kind of screwing myself, right? Because Dominic Mysterio has already been removed from the other match. So maybe that's the match where the Twin Terrors win. I just really feel like Liv is going to hold on to her title for quite a while longer. And I don't think Rhea gets her redemption until maybe WrestleMania. And that's the big blow off between Liv and Rhea. Like, they're going to have a match where Rhea and Liv are fighting for the championship, and it's kind of like Rhea's last opportunity, and she enters the Royal Rumble, and then that's how she ends up winning the opportunity to face Liv. So I guess you're going to get both predictions now. For Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, I'm going to have Damian Priest picking up the win. For Liv Morgan defending her Women's World Heavyweight Championship against Rhea Ripley with Dominic Mysterio in the shark cage, I have Liv Morgan to retain. These are my toss-ups, right? Like, I feel confident in Cody and Roman winning. I feel confident in Ajax winning. When it comes to Damian and Liv, I don't feel so confident, so we'll see what happens at the PLE. And of course, the main event, or what should be the main event, is the Hell in the Cell match between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. Guys, I said that like the Twin Terrors versus the Judgment Day matches were kind of like my wild cards, my 50-50s. This is truly a 50-50 split. If you're going to ask me who I would say is going to win this match, especially depending on where you go from here, I feel like I would have to say CM Punk. Because I feel like what we're going to get eventually is the matchup we didn't get last year, which is CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 41, Night 1, so that CM Punk gets his WrestleMania main event. And also because Seth Rollins versus CM Punk deserves a main event slot. But how do you get there? And maybe they don't wrestle for the World Heavyweight Championship, but if you were going to tell the story of Punk wrestling Gunther at some point for the title, whether he wins it or not, he has to put like a close to this chapter with Drew McIntyre, and he's got to walk out of this the victor. I could see Survivor Series being Gunther versus CM Punk, or at Crown Jewel. Right now they have Sami Zayn versus Gunther, so you got to create a little bit of separation from that. But CM Punk being the person to fight Gunther at a PLE, whether that's Crown Jewel, Survivor Series, or even Royal Rumble, I think the way you get there is CM Punk being the guy to end this feud victoriously. So I'm going to have CM Punk over Drew McIntyre. But man, Drew McIntyre is doing some of his best work in his career, maybe the best work of his career. And I think he could deserve it too. And I cannot wait for the day Drew McIntyre wins another World Heavyweight Championship. But I think when you talk about like what's the story, 6 months from now and how do we get there, it just makes sense that CM Punk is the one to leave the Devil's Playground with his hand held high at the end of that match. All right, guys, those are my predictions for Bad Blood 2024. I got Cody and Roman. I got Nia Jax. I've got Damian Priest. I've got Liv Morgan. And I've got CM Punk. Who do you have for these matches? What are your predictions? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you like video games, if you like wrestling, if you like the occasional parent humor, you're in the right place. And I will see you very soon.